We have this little girl that is very unhappy, and she thinks that that she's never going to find happiness. So she sings this pretty song called "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and she thinks if she goes over the rainbow to this magical place, she'll find the happiness that she's been looking for. So there's this tornado, and she hits her head, and she somehow winds up over the rainbow, and she's in this new place called Oz, and she meets this horrible witch, and then the bad witch, and then she meets a good witch. And the good witch tells her that if she wants the answers to her questions, she's going to have to go to the Wizard of Oz to find the answers to her questions. The question that she wanted was the biggest one before she went to Oz was, I want to be happy. So she goes to the wizard, but on the way she meets a scarecrow, a tin man, and a lion. And they are looking for something they don't have too. One's looking for courage, one's looking for the ability to love, and one is looking for brains, or the ability to think. And so they all say, well, why don't I go with you, and we'll all go to the wizard together, and then we'll be able to get him to give us what we're looking for. So they go to the wizard, and he says to them, I'll give you what you want once you prove that you're worthy and you deserve it. And they said, well, how can we prove that we're worthy and we deserve it? Because we really want this. And he says, well, you have to go get the witch's broomstick, the wicked witch's broomstick, because that's impossible. He says, that's the only way you're going to prove you're going to be worthy of it. So they go, and they sneak up, and they're able to get the witch's broomstick. They get it. And they come back to the Wizard of Oz, and they say, look, we have the broomstick now, you got to give us what we want. But while they're there, they find out that he's a fake, that he can't give them what they want. He can't give them brains, and he can't give them happiness, and he can't give them love, and he can't give them courage. And he starts explaining to him that, you can be smart, and you can have love, and you can have brains. All you have to do is believe it to be true for yourself. And I'll give you this symbol of what that is, that represents. And if I give you that symbol, then you'll believe in yourself and you'll believe you have it. And once you do, you'll have it. And sure enough, that's exactly what happens for the three of them. So he gives them the one, a medal that says he's courageous. And because he has the medal, he believes he's courageous. And then he gives the other one a symbol of a diploma. And because he has the diploma, he thinks he's smart now. And then he gives the other one the heart. And so now he can feel. So what did the wizard do? He really didn't do anything except get them to believe in themselves. So they believe that. Now that's great. So they figured out the hard way that, that it's not something that somebody can give you. It's something that you believe you are. So then Dorothy says, well, how am I going to get out of here? How am I going to get what I want? He says, well, I'll take you home and I'll do it personally. They have this little accident. He floats away, and she's all sad, and she says, I don't understand, how am I going to get what I want? And the good witch comes down, Glinda comes down, in the little pink bubble, and she says, what's wrong? And she says, well, I'm not ever going to be able to go home. And she says to her, well, can you tell me what you learned on this journey? And the journey, the Yellow Brick Road, was basically just a journey of life. And she says, well, can you tell me what you've learned? And she said, well, I've learned if you go outside yourself looking for your heart's desire, you're never going to find it. Because if it wasn't inside of you to begin with, it would never be there. So what she learned was that love and happiness comes from within. And she went looking for it outside of herself, and she didn't find it. And at the end of the road, she learned that it comes from within. And then she says to her, that's very good, and now you can go home. All you have to do is snap your shoes together 3 times, and you can go home. And she says, well, if you knew that the whole time, why didn't you tell me that to begin with? And she says, because if I would have told you, you would have never believed me. You had to experience it for yourself. And that's what you're all doing with these relationships. Until you figure out for yourself that you are the source of your own happiness, that you create the love for yourself, you're going to be on your journey, trying to look for a
Yellow Brick
wizard,
Road.
going down the Yellow Brick Road, and once you finally get to the end of the Yellow Brick Road and you realize that it all comes from within, from you, and you've had the power the whole time to be happy and to have love, and all those things you've been looking for, that she was looking for, and all the other ones were looking for, you had it the whole time. And once you figure that out, then you've got the perfect love.